Nature's so beautiful. Let's go fuck shit up. Folks, what we have here is a brand new Ford Raptor. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing because the old one was pretty damn awesome. So what's going on with this one? Well, it dropped a lot of weight and it gained power. It did lose a V8 though. And we're gonna pour one out for our homie, the 8-cylinder engine, because that is sad. Under the hood, we have a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged EcoBoost motor. And this is one of those cases, do you get Eco or do you get Boost? You get all sorts of boost here. We have 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. It's being routed through Ford and GM's joint venture on this new 10-speed automatic gearbox, which, first impressions, it's all right. If you just stick to the 6 lower gears, you're probably in a good spot. Using the paddles here on the steering wheel, it shifts pretty quickly and it's responsive, but just driving around town, it's like shift, 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 because it wants to get good fuel economy and it wants to fill the spaces between the gears. I get it. I totally get it. In sport mode, which is how I normally leave this thing, you get a much more sensitive throttle. You get tighter steering, but you also get it holding shifts longer, and it can be a little bit annoying. And then when it does shift, it's like, So maybe that's nitpicky on an adventure truck like this, but you know what? What are you gonna do? You gotta find some faults with modern cars, even though it's harder and harder to do. So we're running the Raptor out here on the road to Holy Jim. I think if we kept going, it would eventually lead us actually back to our old stomping grounds, the Hooniverse Highway Hooning Grounds off Ortega by taking Upper Divide. But that's neither here nor there. Let's just have some fun in this kick-ass Ford truck. So what else is new? They dropped about 500 pounds depending on the trim of the truck, which cab configuration you get. So less weight, more power, always equals good stuff. And if you do care, this does get better fuel economy. I'll put the fuel economy number up right here because I don't care enough to know it in a truck like this. It's definitely gonna be better than that old 6.2. Where this truck is not better is in the noise department. You get some cool turbo noises, which is all well and good, but we really want V8 growl, and it's a shame that that's gone. But if you can get over the fact that it doesn't sound as good, you're gonna enjoy one hell of a truck because every single thing else about this truck is better. All of the driving modes from normal, sport, there's a mud and snow. Let me run through them here. There's normal, sport, weather, mud and sand. It's shifting now because I'm going through them. And then there's a rock crawl, but before you get there, there's one called Baja. And that is what everybody says is the fun one because it basically takes this thing to all of its max limits while still leaving some computers involved. I'm just running in sport now because this road we're running down isn't that difficult. This is a very light trail. In fact, I saw a chrome-wrapped Lexus IS come down this road earlier. I've seen a Prius on this trail, but if we keep going, it gets more difficult. Not that much more difficult. After all, this is a truck that Ford took to Baja and won. The only thing they added was safety equipment because, I mean, you don't want to go to Baja without a roll cage and all that extra stuff you need. But everything else on the truck was stock. Ford worked with Fox Racing shocks to refine the shocks on this truck so they're bigger. The damping has been changed. Everything about this is made to be better out on the trail. And you can take it on a tighter trail like this, but that's not where this thing shines. This thing needs to be out blasting dunes and just crushing it in the desert, in the sand, having an amazing time. There's 17-inch wheels on this, and they're wrapped in BF Goodrich's KO2 rubber, which is pretty much the best off-road tire out there. It has decent on-road manners. It's not overly loud. You don't get that super bro-dozery whoa as it's running down the road, which is great, and you don't want that in a $60,000 truck. Speaking of that price, that feels like a good price for this thing. The base price is in the 50s. You add some options, and now you're at, I think this is around $62,000. I've had my neighbors ask about the truck and inquire, oh, is that thing 70? And it's 10,000 under what they're asking. And for what it can do, it's pretty amazing. So if you compare, say, like a sports car equivalent, you would never scoff at the fact that like the Corvette costs what it costs, or an M3 costs what it costs. Some of you might, but in general, you know, like a Grand Sport Corvette is an amazing deal. This, for what it can do, is a phenomenal deal, and I love it, and I want to keep it. But I don't have $60,000, and my old Ford truck cost about $3. So there's that. It does feel huge and a bit ponderous when you're driving it, but once you get used to the size, you can kind of just have fun with it. Around town, you feel like a gentle giant among the lambs of your society. So you need to get out and get this thing dirty. It looks better when it's dirty. It looks good shined up. It looks more pumped up and tougher than the old Raptor. And the old Raptor was no weakling looking little truck. This one just looks even meaner. With the 10-speed automatic gearbox, which is one of the easier compromises you're going to have to make, because really it's fine. It's just a little clunky at times, but when you're using the paddles to shift or really just hauling ass, that's when it behaves the best. It's around town where you notice like, oh, it was a little rough on the shift. The other thing is the noise. If you can get past the noise, and this thing actually does have decent noise, so if they never made a V8, you'd be like, oh, this sounds awesome. But the fact that there was a V8, that's where you're kind of like, oh, that sounded better. That's it. Live with those two things, and you have one, I'm going to swear here, you have one fucking awesome truck on your hands that you can jump and just have an insane time and not feel it and do crazy ass shit in it. And on road, it's kind of fun too. It feels like you're driving a Baja truck between stages through Ensenada. And anytime you can live out that fantasy, I mean, doing something real right. Gotta let these bikes go by. Be a nice guy. Spray them with rocks. Don't be that guy out on the trail.
I got it. No fucking idea.
We should, at the very end of the video, be like, this trail isn't that hard.
It's really not that hard.
Dude, it's so big.
I think you need a grow a pair before.
I've been trying to.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. We're good.